Well, this is Pat Walker at Mission Winners, making a recap here of the leading groups. This is a fact. It's not an opinion, a fact. Leading groups produce leading stocks. And it's common sense dictates that. If you have a bunch of stocks in the same group that are doing well, by default, that's probably a leading group. So what do we want to do? It's important to know what the leading groups are. And then we can break it down and look at leading stocks. Fact for you also. The vast majority of leading stocks have a composite rating of 90 or higher. In fact, we really like to see a composite rating of 95 or higher. We've made our screens a little looser, and it helps us broaden it out a bit and give a broad brushstroke so that we can see some of the potential stock candidates for the coming week. At Mission Winners, we run our screens and we produce lists that go in a little broad, much broader than this, but it gives you an idea of what you do. And again, I think it's very important to stress, what are we after? It's very simple. Leading groups and the leading stocks in those groups. And one of the ways you can measure it is with the composite rating. So I'm going to slide this in here and show this to you. These are the leading groups right now. All right? Here they are, in order. Biotech, Wholesale Electronics. I won't read them to you. You can see you can look at this and see themes. One quick glance, you should be able to see a theme right on. What is it? Semiconductor. 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 And they've been strong, which is why we have exposure in that group. And there's another group that's been strong. It's not in the top 10, but it's done really well. Software stocks. One of the things we like to do is we like to quantify our tactics. It makes it easy. You don't want to fly out of control. I got to find this. No, make it easy on yourself. Stack the deck in your favor. So let's go in and look at some of these stocks. Here's the number one stock in the number one group, DBVT. By the way, this is another tactic for you. I want to share it with you. Sort your screens by percent off high. So you find the leading groups and then the leading stocks in those groups. You sort your stocks by percent off high. So here's DBVT. DBVT, now, it's a biotechnology stock. It's got great earnings. Great earnings, doesn't have sales. This is the weekly on the left, daily on the right. All right? Trades a little bit thin, but not too bad. But it just gives you an idea. A tight little pattern there, okay? Do stress this. It is biotechnology. Always be careful with individual biotechnology. They can go up like the rocket's red glare, but if there is ever a bad news story, you can get clipped. I'm not forecasting a bad news story, but it's just a fact. It's not an opinion. I can show you through the years. Decades, I've seen some of them get blistered. So anyway, there's a number one stock with a composite rating in a number one group, near highs. Here's number two. PRNB, weekly on the left, daily on the right. So what do we have with this? I need to reverse this. I got to rechange this right here. Let me refresh this bar because this is not right. And we need to get rid of that bar right there. Delete bar. There we go. So now we're looking at this. Stock does a little over 300,000 shares a day. And you can see it's lifting up. It doesn't have any numbers. No numbers at all. But it's a leading group, and this is a leading stock in the group. Is there an entry here? Well, if it was going sideways, I'd say yes, take out these, but it's a little bit extended above there. So I encourage you, be careful with it. Be careful chasing. You don't want to buy up too high. You want to buy breakouts near the pivot. Here's the next stock in the list. SNX. This is Wholesale Electronics. And you can see it's just going sideways here. I'll get rid of this bar right here because it's not happening yet. There we go. SNX. Right here. Going sideways. This stock has an earnings per share rank of 94. Composite rating of 99. Now look at the chart. It gapped up right here on earnings. Ran up. Reversed down. Is there a clean and simple entry here? No, there's not. Could there eventually be a clean and simple entry? Well, sure. Sure. And if there is, we'll be ready for it. It's the number two group, and here's the best part. This stock hit new highs. Did it on earnings. Earnings per share rate 94, composite rating 99. Next stock. Form weekly. Ticker symbol's FORM. This is a semiconductor stock. I'll clean this bar up right here. This is what we're looking at. This stock has an earnings per share rank of 62, but it's got a composite rating of 94. It's leading off. Relative strength is strong. Is there a clean entry on this? Not really right now. It's extended, so there's no entry on this. Here's the next stock. Lam Research. Lam Research, excuse me, I'm sorry. Lam Research is in the, this is when you know you got problems because I got a cough going on here and I'm sorry. Here's Lam Research. Lam Research is, again, a semiconductor lifting off. Is there any really clean entry on this? All right. And the answer is no. This is in the semiconductor equipment group. Okay. It's group number 4. All right. Lifting off. No clean spot there. So what do? Wait till you see one. That's what you're after. Earnings are due in 10 days. CCMP weekly had nice, look at the volume spike right here. You can say, what happened there? What was that? And I'll share this with you on CCMP. Let's see if I got any news on that. No news. This is a bad data bar here. Bear with me. Just slowly grinding up, forming a cup. Now, there's something to take in consideration here. I'll refresh this for you also, just so you can see something. Down on heavy volume. Down on heavy volume. That ain't mom and dad selling. That's serious. So you have to be careful with that, all right? Just be careful with those big down volume bars, all right? And I just encourage you to be careful. Is there a clean entry here? And the answer is no, there is not. This is Semiconductor Equipment Group, group number 4. Next stock on the list is Teradyne. Teradyne Semiconductor Equipment. Now look at this. This is cleaner here. This is cleaner. One thing I have to tell you, stock's got an earnings per share rank of 88 and a relative strength rank of 95, composite rating of 97. What's the negative? What's the negative? All right? And you may not know it, but I'll tell you, earnings are due in 3 days. Earnings due in 3 days. You need to know that. That can really hurt you. All right? An earnings surprise can wreck you. All right? Earnings due 122, just for what it's worth. Applied Materials. Semiconductor Equipment. Earnings per share rank 68, but the composite rating is 94 and it's in the top group. All right? Going sideways. Now, analyze the chart. See these clean tops here? It breaks out above these tops here, runs up, tails off, and closes right here in the bottom third of its range for the day. What does that tell us on that bar? It was met with selling. It was met with sellers. You can say, Patrick, why do you say that? I'm going to enlarge this for you, okay? Here's where it opened. It runs up and then slips and closes in the bottom third of its range. It was met with selling pressure. Look at this bar. It gaps up and proceeds, hits highs and then drops the rest of the day on a slight pickup in volume. That's a negative. Just something to be aware of. All right? So let's continue onward. Integris. Delete that bar real quick. And it is, just to tell you, it's in the Semiconductor Equipment Group also. Earnings per share ranks 81, composite ratings 97. But look at the chart. You want to buy stocks in low risk entry spots, okay? Here's a spot in here pushing through these tops. Is there any edge in buying it up here? No. I encourage you all, have the discipline to buy it at the right spot. You could buy this stock at 56. This stock could fall all the way down to $52, and it still doesn't look that bad. But in the meantime, you're down 4 points. Don't do that to yourself, all right? I think it's very important to maintain discipline. ACM is the next stock, and we're going to do something here real quick. Delete that bar. And here's what we're looking at right here. Lifting up. This is in the heavy construction. We're out of semiconductor now, okay? We're in building heavy construction, moving up, all right? And there's really no spot on this. In fact, this stock is in the wrong group here too, because it should be ACMR. Let's see if we got ACMR. There we go. Because I'm looking going, that's not the right one. My apologies. So we do this, and we do this. We're about done, by the way. There we go. We'll refresh it. We'll delete this bar. And here's where we're at. Just grinding up. Here's another lesson for us. I want to show you. Look at the weekly. Here's the daily, but look at the weekly. Look at that long cup and a handle when it lifted off. Isn't that nice? Look at the volume pickup. And you had volume pickup on the daily too. That's the kind of stuff we look for. That's great. It's got an earnings per share rank of 74, which is a shame, but it's got a composite rating of 99 in the top group. That's what we're after, okay? Just now, is there an edge in buying it up here? No. Right here's a spot with the volume surge. I'm going to do something to help you. I hope this helps. You can say, oh, there's a little shelf right there. You combine it with, watch this. Look at that. You have a cup and a handle. Say if it takes out the tops of this bar right here. In fact, I'm going to do this for you. Okay, this is the stuff we teach. Takes out the top of this little spot right here, across this line with volume. That'd be great. Advance the bar. And it does. Look at that. Is that great? And that's what you want. And off to the races. From 20-something up to 36. There you go. That's why we do this. Leading groups and leading stocks. Let's continue on. We're about done here, by the way. This is the next stock on the list. Is Fortinet. All right? And the ticker symbol's FN. And you can see that it's in the contract manufacturing group. I'll delete this bar to clean this up. And it's just going sideways. Now, it's got a composite rating of 93. Last quarter's earnings were down 7%. Revenues were up 6%. Look at the chart. What do you see in this chart? Here's what I see. I see distribution on this bar. I see distribution on this bar. I see distribution on this bar. What does it tell us? We need to take out these tops going across here, right here, and I'll draw it for you. Take out those tops in a good market with volume, just for what it's worth. Continue onward. Jabil. It's in the contract manufacturing group also. All right. Looks good. Spikes up on earnings. Okay. Consolidates. Starts to pick up. This is how you know there's a seller there. It gaps up, it runs up and closes below where it opens. On this bar here last week, runs up and fades. There's a seller up there. So what does it need to do? Perhaps go sideways and take out these tops and run. There you go. Now you've got a plan, which we like. Next stock on the list, Nvidia. This is a max list stock. Going sideways right here. Go across these tops, max list stock. That would be nice. All right, I'll show you something here. Here's the hourly. I already have this marked right there. By the way, you see my limit alert? I'll put it right there. I'll be ready for this stock. Note the volume pickup. There you go. There's a gift for you. Maybe. Maybe we'll see. Price and volume. Advanced Micro Devices. We own that one down here. Right here. Look at the volume pickup when it went through those tops. Is that sweet? People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. Guess what? They voted. And the stock's moving up 40 to 51. There we go. We're still in it. Just let it work. By the way, clean and simple entry, and then just let it trend. I don't know where it's going to go. All right, I don't know the future. I'll just get in line with it and let it work for as long as possible. Next stock on the list, Lattice Semiconductor. We're about done here, by the way. I just like to be thorough. I think it's important. Lattice Semiconductor lifted off here on Friday. Lifting up. Looks fine. All right. Earnings per share rank 98. Little bit extended in price, just for what it's worth, something to consider. Next stock, Monolithic Power. Semiconductor, fabless, going sideways. Earnings per share rank 82, composite rating 97, going sideways. What's it going to need to go across these tops, folks? It's going to need volume. Not there yet, but something to watch. Leading group. IPHI, we own this one right down here. Look at the longer base. I'll show you something. This is good education for you. Here's the weekly. Here's the daily. Look at the volume surge on that bar. The previous bar, the stock did 330,000 shares. Look at it, 1.35 million. That's sweet. They voted. We're just going to let it work. There you go. Next stock on the list, STM. Now, here's a lesson for you. Get rid of this bar. What's the lesson on this chart? Weekly looks good. A lot of gaps in here, folks. I mean, look at this. Oh, this is great. Let's do the happy dance. We're great. Boom, boom. Gaps down, gaps down. Oh, look at this. It's off to the races. Gaps up, closes okay. Gaps down. Oh, look at this. It goes up, gaps down. Be careful with that. There's not a lot of rhythm in that. There's a lesson for you. Okay? Just wanted to share that with you. Diodes. Right here. Just going sideways. Looks nice. Composite rating's 97. Moving on up. No real clean entry up here though. Okay, so be careful with that. DBVT. Get to this real quick. Last stock on the list. And it's not coming up on my system. Well, you know what? We're going to stop right there. This gives you a good overview of what's going on in the markets. All right? I hope this helps you just to understand what to focus on. I'm going to give you the recap here. Folks, key on the leading groups and the leading stocks in those groups. If you do that, you will have an edge over other people. The other thing, focus on stocks that have either great earnings and or great sales. You don't need both, but one or the other. Focus on stocks that have clean and simple chart patterns that everybody can see, and look for volume surges. And also, turn off the noise. Turn off the noise. Let the stock work for you. And I thank you.